Welcome to episode 2, everybody. My name is Mitch Bolo. I'm here with Mr. Tyler Larson. Tyler, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let me start out by just laying out the ground rules like I was saying. You and I know each other from before this, but we have to assume that there are people out there listening that don't know you.
Right.
So we'll cover some basics first and expand from there. The max time limit is 60 minutes, but you can use as much or little of that time as you'd like.
Okay.
The only rule, no talking about other people. Just be nice.
Yeah.
And FCC rules, no F-bombs, nothing like that.
Okay.
Also, these are straight cut videos as we're talking about. The cameras are here. They're recording. We're not editing it. The only difference is this camera right here goes in 10-minute segments. So I have a timer set, and we'll have to restart it every 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So let's get to it. Oh, before we get to the basics, though, I also wanted to point this out. You're not here running for tribal council.
Correct.
So first of all, tell everybody what you are running for.
I'm here to run for associate judge for the KBIC Tribal Court.
Okay, very good. And now if you could just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're coming from, stuff like that.
So, as you already mentioned, my name is Tyler Larson. I'm a member of the KBIC. I live in Baraga, Michigan. I was born here. I have family in the area on both sides of the family that are tribal members. Lineage that goes back to the Lunsfoot family, in the Mayo and Magnet family on the other side. My mom ended up getting married. I moved away as a young kid and lived in Calumet area and graduated from high school there. Outside of high school, or after high school, I went down to Northern Michigan University, where I was able to obtain a criminal justice degree. And while down there, I was able to actually play football on a scholarship, where I was also selected as a captain my junior and senior years. So I learned a lot going through that process as a student athlete. In the meantime, I also had a child while I was down there, and I have basically taken her, and she lives with me. I've been raising her here in Baraga. And when I returned back to Baraga, I took a job with the tribe. I've worked multiple positions within the tribe, as many would know, and maybe that's where people would recognize me from. I've worked time with the youth. I have done time with the KBIC Tribal Police and down at the court in the probation and drug court programs. And most recently as the Director of Tribal Social Services. Currently I work for the Department of Health and Human Services for the state of Michigan, where I've had many roles as well. I've done child protective services, foster care, juvenile delinquency, and currently working with our older population of youth that have experienced foster care and help them with their independent living skills as they transition into adulthood. So with all that, I think that brings a good skill set for me to serve in this position. A lot of those positions where I've been able to spend time in the courtroom, whether it be testifying, petitioning, court reports, what have you, across the board have done a lot. And then in my own personal life, through the friend of the court, and have my own personal experiences through that. So I've seen it on both levels, state and tribal side. And I think that's what's led me to taking on an opportunity like this, and my ability to give back to the community and share my experiences.
So what inspired you to run for this position?
I've always had respect for the judges. My time in the courtroom or working with the court, has really put that person kind of on a pedestal with a lot of respect. And I think that, in the past, hadn't really thought about being in a position like that, but more recently, building experience and feeling more confident, I think going after something like this could be very gratifying. Again, getting an opportunity to share everything that I know and apply it into a position like this. So I think it's in my heart to help serve and to work with people, and all the human services type of jobs that I've worked in continues to motivate me. I think it could be a challenging position, but I'm always up for a challenge, and I'm highly motivated, as many would know that I've worked with, and also have the humility to understand that I don't know everything, but we could use those resources that are available and network with all the people that I have met throughout all my time and experiences. So.
Okay, so it is the kind of heavy campaigning time right now. Have you been out actively campaigning and whatnot?
So I've been talking with several people. I'm trying to find the time at this point. I'm currently coaching basketball, as I've done for several years, and we're just wrapping up our season. But yeah, I've reached out to quite a few people and asked for support. Just starting low, with my close-knit group, making sure I have that support and moving forward so I can try to, put together a decent campaign here. And of course, I don't think I can get to everybody, but I appreciate this platform that you have. A lot of people use Facebook and social media as an opportunity to reach out and right, let's work smarter and not harder. But not to say I don't want to be out and seeing people, because I would like to answer questions that people would have for me, especially in a face-to-face type of situation, where we can maybe get into some details of things that they want to know, or maybe there's some things I can learn from people that I can take back, and if I do get elected into this position, I can try and implement into the court. So like I said, I'm very open-minded. I'm always open to suggestions and ideas, and I think collectively we can do this better than maybe just one person trying to take this on by themselves. So.
Just speaking to a lot of you candidates right now, all of you seem to speak with the theme of we need to come together as a team, and I like that. So let's go to some of these questions that we have from the Facebook page. Some of them aren't going to apply to you as much, since
Sure.
You're going for associate judge, not tribal council, but some of them I still would just like to know your opinion. Let's see here. I wanted to go to this one from Valerie Vokes. She says, and this one would require a little bit of past knowledge, and if you don't know, it's my fault for asking, but for the judges, Valerie Volk says, would they reverse back to the courts having to be under the council, or keep it the same, which is as referring to a conflict in our community?
Sure. I guess without having firsthand experience, I'm not sure how to answer that question. I would have to have my own assessment on it before I can give some sort of recommendation or plan of attack. I think there are underlying issues as to why that happened, but I can only go based on my own decision. I don't want to be influenced by someone else's thoughts on it. So
that's where that open mind comes in.
Yeah, and exactly. And I'd like to hear all sides of it, but also have my own view on it. So maybe that's something to look at if I do get into this position. And these are the kind of things that I'd like to know what the community is looking for. Is there a reason why we should go back or stay, and what are those reasons? So I can make a thorough assessment of that.
Very good. And that's one of the things about doing these interviews is we might get questions like that. So once again, appreciate you having you here for that. Let's see. She does ask another question. With the growing epidemic on drug abuse, increased tribal children in foster care, what has the tribe done to battle or should be doing to decrease this ongoing problem? You already mentioned a couple of these issues. Are you looking to make some big changes in those areas with this position?
Well, as a judge, you're basically gathering fact and making a decision off of what is in front of you. There's programs in place to handle these situations. So we have two questions here, essentially: the opioid issue, or the drug abuse issue, and the children in foster care. And I think a lot of it coincides. I mean, and I know it does because of my experience at the Tribal Social Services Department. The majority, if not all, are some way associated with drug use. Speaking of our kids in foster care.
All right, we're hitting this first timer. We're going to reset our cameras. All right, so our cameras are reset. We're up and recording here once again. So going back to some of these questions here, and just from people speaking about things, something I guess that would stand out then would culture. How would you carry your culture into this position? And
So
okay, go ahead. Go with that one.
Okay.
That's a good start.
I would utilize our resources that we have right here. I mean, we have experts that know a lot about our culture, and we have lots of people that know in different areas. So I would reach out to them and ask them for their guidance, and implement that wherever that may be. It may not look the same for everybody. Every family is different. Every person that comes through the doorway in court is going to look different. And what is it that's going to maybe help them or motivate them and try some different things, right? And maybe not take so much of a cookie cutter approach and say this is going to be this for you and have it the same down the line, but maybe someone really likes to get into the drum or sweat or whatever it may be, and connect them with people that may become mentors for them or help them use faith or a higher power of some sort and utilize the people that we have, because there are a lot of good people here that are willing to help and have a lot of great ideas. So
now, you've been able to really take a good look at some of that stuff. Is it something that does make a difference for people that are looking to get out of a certain lifestyle?
I think so. I think when people hit a very low point in their life, they're looking in any, whichever direction it may be, to try and find a way out or find something to help them. And maybe it's the probation officer pointing them, telling them to do this, or a foster care worker telling them they have to do that. Or, I think getting creative, finding, like I said, what is your motivation? What is going to rub that person the right way to maybe get out of the darkness a little bit and find something that they can, hang on to and fill that void. Fill some of that stuff in their brain, the receptors in the brain that go haywire from substance use. What is it that we can use to help them live a better lifestyle?
All right. So just a bit ago, I had asked you about, that past conflict and, the control of the courts and whatnot. That's a question that I have, and you said maybe that's something I'd look into. What are some of the questions that you already have built up that if you get in there, the day you're in there, the questions you want answered?
The questions I want answered from...
Just, you want to get in there and make a change because, you must see there are changes that could happen.
Yeah.
What are some of those changes you'd like to see or things you'd like to learn, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'd like to know, what are our trends? What do we have going on? I think I know what they are because I kind of live it in the world that I work in at this point. It's the substance abuse. And you asked the question, I never got a chance to really get to it. But, I think that is going to be an ongoing issue for a long time. It's not only here, it's nationwide, statewide, across all different cultures, and it's the $1 million question. What can we do to stop this? What can we do to stop the war on drugs, so to speak? And again, that kind of goes back to, what is it that motivates someone? How can we redirect this person into something more healthy, and try and get them to be a productive member in our society, in our community? We have a lot of intelligent, a lot of hardworking people here that end up taking the wrong road at some point in time. Doesn't mean they're bad people. I think we have to, as a community, kind of hold each other accountable, hold one another accountable. Don't let drugs be an okay thing. Point them in the right direction or get them the help they need. And we're not trying to get them in trouble. I think court intervention or police intervention or CPS, whatever it may be, is to try and help them from getting any worse, to help get them the help that's needed, or and if it has to be through court order, then force them to try and change certain things. So that kind of digressed away from your question.
It works because, like, when I talk to some of the candidates for tribal council, some of them will say, as soon as I get in there, I want to find out about this, and that.
Yeah.
For you, it seems like you're in the game already. You know what's going on. You just want to get in this position so you can make the change you want to change.
Right. Yeah. And that's a good way of reframing that. there's going to be stuff I don't know, and there's going to be stuff that I'm going to look toward our professionals to help out. We have, great staff throughout the KBIC. We have great resources. I've connected with many people over the years, and I know a lot of these people that I look to for advice. When I don't know something, I want to ask and see what are your thoughts on this? What do we think? And collectively make the best decision possible. Again, as a judge, I'm in a position to make a decision, right? Maybe sometimes it's the unpopular one, and that's okay.
Yep.
If I feel it's right, then I have no problem making that unpopular decision. So I think just having that firsthand frontline experience, being there, seeing people, working with people, being right alongside of them, and understanding or trying to understand what are the problems, what are the issues we're dealing with. So that's where I feel my strength would be. But there's other things that I'm going to need to learn as a judge, right? No one comes in as a judge and knows everything, right?
Yeah.
There's resources.
No job.
Right, exactly. So I think my willingness to learn, my motivation to do the best job I can and serve the people fairly, respectfully, and let them be comfortable in our courtroom.
Can be a scary place.
Yeah, it is. Being in there countless times, you still get kind of nervous. It's like driving by a police car. Even if you're going the speed limit, you kind of pump the brakes even.
Yeah, check it.
But you go into court, even when it's an easy thing you're dealing with, it could be uncomfortable at times. So, I think those are things that I can bring to the table that I know as a worker that I've experienced, that the families I work with have experienced, and I've seen how scared people get when they go into court. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, because it's more of a way to help people out, right? And I think that's why we have this established kind of enforce the law, but we also want to help people, because without our people being the best they can be, we can't move in the direction we want to be, right? We want to make things positive, move forward, but there's times to take care of business when it means to. So,
all right, we're reaching that timer. We're going to reset these cameras again. All right, and our cameras are reset. So, like I was saying before, a lot of these questions on here are financial stability questions and other ones that might apply more to tribal council candidates. So I'm just going to give you the opportunity now. Is there a certain topic or issue that you would like to talk about here? I think you kind of covered a lot of it. Is there something that you were scared I was going to ask about, but I didn't?
No, I'm ready to take whatever you throw at me. I hope you weren't going to tell me to recite the tribal code, so that's good.
No, I wouldn't want to take the time to check it anyways. But then last thing is an opportunity now to speak to the voters.
Okay. I've known a lot of people that are out there, a lot of you out there. Some of you I don't know. Some of you may have heard my name, have seen me around. Maybe we've had some good interactions, maybe some not so good interactions, just because of the type of work I do. It just comes with the lay of what I going on. But I think with what's happened lately, there's been some change, and change is not always a bad thing. Change can be a good thing, and it can go either way. But I think as we go through this time of change, I'm here as a younger person, I guess, trying to run for a position that people are always saying our younger people need to get out and run for positions of office, I guess, and here I am. I'm doing it. I feel now I have the confidence and the ability to make this happen. I believe I could be a successor to those that have served before us. They have all done well in what they've in their capacity, and I'm just here to give back everything I know, my experiences. I feel I could be a strong asset. I enjoy working for the tribe. I've bounced around and took advantage of as many opportunities as I can to build up my my resume essentially, so I can become the best worker I am able. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy the human services, quote unquote, field. I feel I can be very impartial when need be. I'm very level-headed, and I have high integrity. I have high standards for myself. If anyone has any questions about what I've done, what kind of worker I am, what kind of person I am, there's plenty of people out there that can attest to good things. And even if there's things that might not be so good, I encourage people to ask. I've listed several places that I've worked. Talked to police, the court staff, anyone in the youth programs, tribal center. I've been around, and I feel like I've done a good job in everything I've done. So. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I stay pretty active on Facebook. I'm connected to your page here on Tribal Members, so anyone can certainly feel free to find me and ask me any burning questions or give me some advice that might be helpful as we move forward or ideas. So maybe we don't know what that looks like until after a few weeks here or a few months, but I'm always open to ideas. Again, I'm going to pound this in everyone's head. I don't know everything, so I'm always open. Not to say I'm don't have a strong back to make the decisions I need to. I'm a father of 3. I've been a coach for many years. I've been in sports my entire life, essentially, so I have thick skin. I can handle it. So fire away, but just don't be too harsh on me. So that's kind of my spiel. I hope I hit most of what people are looking for. And if we haven't, we do have some time, so feel free to reach out to me. And we'll see what happens here in the upcoming weeks. So I appreciate the time, Mitch, and I appreciate the work you do.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming down.